On the night of December 1, 2001, correctional officer named Charles Wilber finished his shift at a federal detention facility in Pennsylvania. He clocked out at 11:47 p.m. His vehicle was seen leaving the employee parking lot at 11:52 p.m. The drive to his residence normally took 18 minutes. Charles lived alone in a single-story house approximately 12 miles from the facility. He had worked the same rotation for 6 years. His schedule was consistent. His route home rarely changed. At 12:31 a.m., a patrol officer responded to a call about a vehicle parked with its headlights on near a rural intersection. The vehicle was registered to Charles Wilber. The engine was running. The driver's door was open. Charles was not inside. The officer noted that the vehicle was positioned partially on the shoulder. The keys were in the ignition. A thermos of coffee sat in the cup holder. It was still warm. Charles's jacket was draped across the passenger seat. His wallet and identification were inside the jacket pocket. There were no signs of a collision, no skid marks on the pavement, no damage to the vehicle. The area was flat and open. Visibility was clear that night. A search began at approximately 1:15 a.m. Officers walked the surrounding fields and checked both sides of the road. They found nothing. No footprints. No disturbance in the grass. No items dropped or discarded. At 4:30 a.m., a K9 unit arrived. The dog tracked a scent from the driver's side door. It moved north along the roadside for approximately 40 yards. Then the trail stopped. The handler reported that the scent simply ended. There was no indication of where it continued. Charles's family was notified that morning. They told investigators that he had no known medical conditions, no history of confusion or disorientation. He did not use drugs. He rarely drank alcohol. He had not mentioned any problems at work or at home. His supervisor confirmed that Charles's shift had been routine. No incidents were reported. No unusual behavior observed. He had spoken briefly with a colleague before leaving. The conversation was described as normal. Phone records showed no outgoing or incoming calls from Charles's cell phone after 11:40 p.m. His bank accounts showed no activity. His credit cards were not used. On December 3rd, a search team expanded the perimeter. They covered a radius of 2 miles. They checked abandoned buildings, drainage systems, and wooded areas. Helicopters flew grid patterns over the region. Volunteers from the community joined the effort. Nothing was found. Investigators reviewed security footage from a gas station located 4 miles from where the vehicle was discovered. The timestamp showed Charles's vehicle passing by at 12:09 a.m. He appeared to be alone. The vehicle was traveling at normal speed. No other vehicles were visible in the footage. That placed him 8 minutes from the location where his car was found. The timeline was consistent with his expected route. On December 8th, a resident living half a mile from the scene came forward. She reported hearing a car door close sometime after midnight. She did not hear voices. She did not hear an engine shut off. She did not look outside. She went back to sleep. Her statement was logged. It did not lead to additional evidence. Detectives interviewed Charles's co-workers. All described him as reliable and private. He kept to himself, but was polite. He never discussed personal matters in detail. No one recalled him acting strangely in the days before his disappearance. His home was examined. Mail was stacked neatly on the kitchen counter. His bed was made. Dishes were washed and put away. There were no signs of hurried packing or planning. His work uniform for the next shift was laid out on a chair. A forensic team processed the vehicle. No fingerprints were found other than Charles's. No traces of blood. No signs of struggle. The interior was clean. The fuel tank was 3/4 full. Investigators considered several possibilities: voluntary disappearance, medical emergency, foul play. Each theory was explored. None aligned completely with the evidence. There was no financial motive to leave. Charles had savings. His bills were current. He had no debts. No life insurance policy that would benefit anyone. There was no history of mental health issues. No prior indication of intent to leave. If there had been a medical event, his body should have been found during the search. The area was thoroughly covered. The weather was cold, but not severe. Conditions were documented. If foul play occurred, the lack of witnesses or physical evidence made it difficult to establish a suspect or motive. Charles had no known enemies. No disputes. No threatening behavior reported toward him. The case remained open, but active leads diminished. Tips were followed when they came in. None resulted in credible information. In February 2002, the search was scaled back. Investigators continued to review the file periodically. No new evidence emerged. Charles's family held service in June 2002. He was not declared legally dead at that time. The case file stayed accessible. It was referenced in training materials for missing persons protocols. Over the years, the scene was revisited during routine reviews. The timeline was re-examined. Witness statements were cross-checked. The findings remained the same. In 2004, a hiker reported finding a jacket in a wooded area 17 miles from the intersection. The item was retrieved and examined. It did not belong to Charles. The fabric was different. The size did not match. It was not connected to the case. In 2006, an anonymous tip was called in. The caller claimed to have information about what happened that night. The tip was investigated. The caller never followed up. The lead went nowhere. A private investigator was hired by Charles's family in 2008. He reviewed all available documents. He conducted new interviews. He returned with the same conclusion. There was no clear answer. Charles Wilber's vehicle was released to his family in 2003. The thermos was never returned. It had been kept as evidence. No tests performed on it provided useful information. The intersection where the vehicle was found is still used. The road was repaved in 2007. No markers were placed. Local residents occasionally mention the case. Some recall the search efforts. Others only know the story through second-hand accounts. Details have faded with time. In 2011, the case was featured in a regional publication. A few new tips came in. None provided information that changed the investigation. The article was archived. Interest faded again. In official records, the case is categorized as an unsolved disappearance. The last known sighting was confirmed by security. Footage at 12:09 a.m. The last physical evidence was the vehicle found at 12:31 a.m. 22 minutes passed between those 2 points. What occurred during that time was never determined. The case file remains stored. It has not been closed. It has not been resolved.